Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jai Jai Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jai Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai Radha Ramana Hari Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jai Jai Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto,
Hare
7th
Krishna
chapter,
Maharaj,
26th.
sorry, Java Dharma, what page? Chapter 25 page?
Yeah, chapter, now chapter 25 next time.
Yes. Yes, page?
Page would be uh, 551, 551.
Okay, thank you.
551. Prameya Nama, chapter 25, 551. Arjuna Vacha Krishna Krishna Mahaprabhu Bhaktanam Bhayankara Tameko Dayamana. Arjuna said, "Oh my Lord Shri Krishna, you are the Almighty Personality of Godhead. There is no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to instill fearlessness in the hearts of your devotees. Everyone in the flames of material miseries can find the path of liberation in you only." Arjuna Vacha Krishna Krishna Mahabaho Bhaktanam Abhayankara. Krishna Krishna Mahabaho Bhaktanam Abhayankara. Tam Eko Dayamanana Apavargosi Samsmrute. Samsmrute. This material world is a vessel of continuous suffering. Unfortunately, many of us fail to comprehend this truth and remain ignorant of our perpetual state of suffering. While individuals may believe they are happy, the essence of this material world lies in unending affliction. When a living being passes away, their gross body is left behind, while the subtle body consisting of mind, intelligence, and ego carries them into another body through the father's semen and mother's womb. Within the womb, there is profound suffering that we have discussed on numerous occasions. Even after birth, the child experiences various inconveniences and sufferings. Unable to fully express their distress, the suffering persists within and outside the womb. As the child grows from infancy to boyhood and eventually to manhood, there are countless trials and tribulations. Becoming a family man, for instance, entails the burden of earning for the family, which in itself is a form of suffering. As old age sets in, diseases and physical limitations manifest, accompanied by numerous distressing thoughts. Ultimately, death itself is a profound source of suffering. At the time of death, one remains oblivious to what lies ahead. I recently witnessed the suffering of one of my godbrothers who was fed through a tube and had to endure the discomfort of catheterization. Helplessly, he was unable to speak. Such experiences represent suffering in its purest form. This continuous cycle of suffering is what is called samsmriti. We are foolish beings, oblivious to the fact that material existence is inherently filled with suffering. We merely struggle to exist as our minds and senses are constantly engaged in this struggle. There is no genuine happiness to be found within this material world. However, these foolish individuals remain unaware of the existence of suffering and are oblivious to how it can be elevated. That is the real problem. This is the real problem. Intelligent individuals should always remember that the true causes of suffering are birth, death, old age, and disease. We should not mistake temporary misunderstandings with friends or occasional dissatisfaction with food as the primary sources of suffering. While such sufferings may arise, they are additional burdens. The genuine suffering lies in the perpetual cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. Material existence is referred to as sansmriti or sansara because it is characterized by suffering. This suffering is likened to a forest fire which ignites spontaneously without anyone intentionally setting it ablaze. Similarly, in this material world, suffering is an inherent part of existence. Irrespective of our desires or intentions, even in a splendid city, there are frequent occurrences of fire alarms ringing. The government must arrange for fire brigades due to the nature of the city and its prosperity. It may seem exaggerated, but compared to India, where such constant fire alarms are not the norm, the reality of suffering in advanced nations becomes evident. The more materially advanced a society becomes, the greater its suffering. This is because material existence is under the control of the divine energy known as Maya, which is characterized by the three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. These modes of influence govern our experiences, causing us to endure the consequences. This material energy, governed by the modes of nature, creates a cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, subjecting us to suffering. Therefore, it is essential to understand the transient and challenging nature of material existence and seek a higher spiritual purpose beyond this cycle of suffering. These individuals, blinded by ignorance, fail to understand the nature of samsmriti or material existence. However, Arjuna, being a Mahajan and a dear friend of Lord Krishna, possessed deep knowledge. He was perplexed by the situation on the battlefield and expressed his reluctance to fight. Arjuna acknowledged his inner conflict and surrendered to Lord Krishna, accepting him as his spiritual master and seeking guidance. Arjuna recognized that only Krishna could save him from the sufferings of samsmriti. Krishna himself affirmed this by emphasizing that he alone should be sought for salvation. The essence of their statements was the same: recognition of the singular importance of Krishna. It is crucial to understand and realize that only by taking shelter of Krishna, one can be delivered from the cycle of samsmriti. This is the essence of Krishnaika Sharanam, taking exclusive shelter of Lord Krishna. Now let us dwell into the concept of Pavarga and Apavarga. Pavarga refers to the process of suffering within this material world. In Sanskrit grammar, there are 5 vargas or groups of alphabets. Pa, Cha, Ta, Ta, Pa. Here we are specifically focusing on the Pa varga, consisting of the alphabets Pa, Pa, Ba, Bha, and Ma. These alphabets symbolize different stages of suffering. The first letter Pa represents parishram or labor. In this material world, nothing can be achieved without diligent effort and hard work. The next letter Pa represents frustration. When one exerts themselves excessively, it leads to a state of frustration like the foam that appears in animals during intense exertion. Following that, the letter B represents vyarthata or futility. Despite undergoing tremendous labor and experiencing frustration, one often faces disappointment and finds their efforts to be in vain. In the current society, people are constantly encouraged to work harder, even if they are already toiling like animals. This is an illustration of the continuous cycle of suffering. The material world is characterized by this power gap, where individuals labor relentlessly, encounter frustration, and face futility. However, there is hope in the concept of apavarga, which means liberation or freedom from their suffering. Liberation or freedom from this suffering. By taking Krishna, one can attain apavarga and transcend the cycle of material existence. It is by surrendering to Krishna and seeking his guidance that one can find relief from the inherent sufferings of samsara. These individuals are dissatisfied even though Indian human beings are toiling like beasts, pulling thelas, handcrafts, and rickshaws, yet they are constantly being told to work harder. This is known as vyarthata, the experience of working hard and not yet finding success. One labors tirelessly, but the results are not forthcoming. This is represented by the letters O, H, B, H, Mo. Additionally, the letter Bha signifies fear. Just as an animal works diligently, but it is still afraid of the whip. Similarly, fear permeates our lives. Ahara nidra bhayamaitunam cha samanyameta pasubir naranam. It is sleeping, mating, and defending. So fear is common to both animals and humans. The anxieties and insecurities that arise from living in this material body are avoided. Sada samudvigna dhyam asadgrahat. Being in this material existence, we are constantly with anxiety. It cannot be escaped. The second thing represented by more continues perpetually. Work hard, experience frustration, face futility, feel fear, and ultimately meet with death. Then the cycle begins again, starting with four. This repetitive pattern persists unless one takes to Krishna consciousness. Only through the path of Krishna consciousness can one counteract the effects of this cycle. There is no other way. Thus, Dayyamanam, to those who are under the burning fire of material existence. The Vishnu Puran states, Chaya Vishnu actually, Vishaya Vishnu Divani the acts of living beings are constantly burning in the fire of material existence. This fire is not an ordinary fire. It is fire. It can, it can be energy, radiation, forest fire of material existence. Night hearts living beings to burn. We are always placed in fear. Sada Samudrigna Dhya. Even great Vaishnava kings like Ambarish Maharaj in devotion fire from worldly affairs. For example, when Ambarish Maharaj faced due to the actions of Durvasa, display his devotee. Durvasa Muni, a renowned yogi, had extraordinary mystic powers, yet he fear sought protection faced with the wrath of Sudarshan Chakra. To Brahma, and Lord Shiva, for saying immense yogic power, he could not escape the consequences of offending him. No pride. What is severe? The gap, the speculative philosophers and yogis are not in trouble. Only the Lord from such anxieties. Even if a devotee lacks yogic powers like Maharaj Ambarish, they remain afraid in the face of danger, surrendering to the will. They understand that if not or even destroy them, it is His divine plan. Such devotees face whatever comes their way, knowing that they are under the shelter and guidance of the Supreme Lord. The Vaishnava, being devoid of fear, is untroubled by the material life. Understand that if Krishna can provide sustenance to the smallest ant, the largest elephant, he will surely provide for them. A Vaishnava has no concern for the necessities of such as food, sleep, fear, or sex. Regarding sexual pleasure, it is completely rejected by the Vaishnava as they progress in their and they experience a higher accuracy of devotion. This transformation is the advancement of a Vaishnava. Sexual enjoyment is considered the pinnacle of material pleasure. It is described as Tucham, a very abominable form of happiness, entangled with various suffering. Whether one engages in illicit or legal suffering, this is the nature of samsara, the cycle of material existence, which revolves around the entanglement in these material desires. The key to samsara lies in remaining absorbed in these desires. There are various operations known as apavarga, but Krishna is the ultimate and most effective means. When one becomes attached, known as Mohan, the enchanter of Cupid, the first desire is naturally forgotten. Without establishing a connection with Madan Mohan, one will continue to suffer the burning fire of insatiable lust. Only by becoming Krishna conscious can one be liberated from this suffering. Therefore, it is stated that Krishna is the ultimate shelter, the apavarga, for those who are undergoing such tribulation. Arjuna, as a surrendered soul, realized that his only refuge in the face of the scorching heat and radiation of the Brahmastra nuclear weapon was the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. The devotees have no other shelter than Krishna's lotus feet. By taking shelter of those lotus feet, one becomes fearless. Until one seeks this shelter, the cycle of samskriti will persist. Thus, Arjuna acknowledges Krishna as the sole source of liberation, the apavarga, and the dispeller of all fears. Thank you very much. So, this is the lecture given by Srila Bhakti-Vidanta Swami Maharaj. This is the gist of it. So, very important verse. Krishna Krishna Mahabaho Bhaktanam Avayankara Tam Eko Dayamananam Apavargo Si Sanskrite. Arjuna said, O my Lord Sri Krishna, you are the Almighty Personality of Godhead. There is no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to instill fearlessness in the hearts of your devotee. Everyone in the flames of material miseries can find the path of liberation in you only. Here, Arjuna is very confident. If you want liberation, Kim Sankhena, Kim Yogena Naranayaka, Muktim Ichchati Rajendra, Guru Govinda Kirtana. So Arjuna has said that, O my Lord Shri Krishna, you are the almighty personality of Godhead. There is no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to instill fearlessness in the hearts of your devotees. Everyone in the midst of the flames of material miseries can find the path of liberation in you only. And by the way, if you enjoy interacting with me and find my assistance helpful, so here you see that this is very, very important. Krishna Krishna Maho Bhaktanam Avayankara Swameko Dayamananam Apavargo. Apavarga means liberation. So this is Pavarga. At Apavarga. Apavarga Vartmani Shraddha Bhakti Anisuri. So in future also one verse will come that Satam Prasangan Mama Virya Samvido Bhavanti Rutkarna Rasayanam Katha. Satam Prasangan Mama Virya Samvido Bhavanti Rutkarna Rasayanam Katha. Sajoshnada Shvapavarga Vartmani in the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation. Therefore, he is freed from his attraction because fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begins. One should hear from sadhus. Sadhus. A sadhu is whose heart, in whose heart Lord Krishna is manifested. That sadhu is always enjoying the sweet pastimes of Krishna. He is totally surrendered to Sri Krishna, and especially to his Guru. He has heard the sweet pastimes of Krishna from his own Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru, the follower of Krishna. In the association of sadhu, all varieties of Harikatha flow like rivers and lakes such as Mansarovar. Such waters carry very sweet pastimes of Sri Krishna which come to us like so many currents here and there. Whether the brahmachari or sannyasi, one is, they should hear Harikatha from the sadhus. It is, so, Bhagavatam says, Dhanma Dasya Vayari Swara Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye Muyyanti Suraya Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatritra Sarvam Vrisha Dhamna Sena Sada Nirasta Kuhotam Satyam Param Dhimahi. So here, Lord Shri Krishna is Satyam, the ultimate truth. He is Parama, supreme. He is the Lord of Lords and he is Avatari Purush, the source of all incarnation. He resides in his abode in Golok Vrindavan, where there is no Maya, material illusion at all. He is the one from whom millions of worlds emanate, including transcendental Golok Vrindavan, the realm of the living entities and also this material world. He knows everything, whereas we living beings don't even know when we were created. Thus the Lord is Abhigya, all-knowing. Swarat means that he is fully independent. No one can control him. No one can ask him the question, why have you done this? So it is very, very important that we study Bhagavatam nicely. So actually once Narad was traveling throughout the world, he saw that Lord Shri Krishna had departed from the world and he became very worried. He then went to Himalayas And he went to Haridwar, to Kashi, Varanasi, and to all the South Indian holy places. And finally, he came to Vrindavan. He saw that in all places, all were very unhappy and greatly suffering. Kaliyug had come, and its influence could be seen everywhere. Both ladies and men had lost their character, and the pilgrimage places had been captured by Mohammedans. Ayodhya, Mathura, Kashi, and so many other places were all captured by them. The Mohammedans had forbidden all Harikatha, and the hearers and speakers would be captured and put in jail if they were caught. Nobody was allowed to worship or engage in religious activities. Shri Narad thought, I see everywhere nowadays that everyone is unhappy. There is no Harikatha in the holy places, and there is no religious mood. The Brahmanas speak on the Srimad Bhagavatam, but they take money for that. There is no pure Harikatha anywhere. That is why everyone is so unhappy. When Narad arrived in Vrindavan, he saw a very beautiful young lady who was weeping bitterly. He also saw two men. They were unconscious. That lady approached him and said, "Oh, now that I have seen you, I am somewhat happy. You must be a saintly person." Narad asked, "Why are you weeping?" I am Bhakti Devi. My birthplace is in the south, where Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, Vishnu Swami, and other acharyas reside. There I gave birth to two sons named Jnana, knowledge, and Vairagya, renunciation. From there I went to Karnataka, between Bombay and Kanyakumari. There I was somewhat happy with my sons. However, when I went with my two sons to Gujarat, which is a very wealthy country, my sons and I became old and they became unconscious. I was so worried. Somehow we reached Vrindavan and I became young here. But my two sons are still very old and their hair is completely grey and they are still unconscious. I don't know what has happened. Do you have any? Nardarshi began to think about a remedy, but he could not discover one. He meditated and then he heard an aerial voice. We can understand about all these topics from a saintly person, and without such help, we cannot know anything. So Narad was searching here and there, searching and searching. He went to the Haridwar. One day he saw his elderly brothers Sanandan, Sanatan, and Sanat Kumar. They were quite naked and looked about 5 years old, although their age was millions of millenniums. The four Kumar brothers always look like that. They are the first Manas Putra, mind-born sons of Brahma. Narad is also like them, in the sense that he was born from Brahma's voice, and that is why his thinking is so sweet. Narad offered obeisances to his elder brothers, and they asked him, "Why are you so worried, Narad? What is the reason?" We know that bhakti, pure devotion, always resides in your heart. You always sing songs of Lord Krishna's pastimes everywhere. You can travel to Golok Vrindavan, Vaikuntha, and to all other planets. Why are you worried? He told them about his world tour and how he became upset to see the unhappy and suffering living entities. He said, I went to Vrindavan where I met Bhakti Devi and her sons, Gyan and Vairagya. She has become young, but her two sons are still old and lying unconscious. What can I do for them? They replied, Bhakti is the Shri of Krishna, the beauty of Krishna. This power of Krishna always resides in the hearts of the sadhus, along with her two sons, Gyan and Vairagya. Where there is Bhakti Devi, there will be all kinds of knowledge of Krishna Tattva, the philosophical established truths of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, Maya Tattva, the truths about this deluding material world, Jiva Tattva, the truths about the eternal living entities, and Rasa Tattva, truths about the loving relationship between Sri Krishna and his associates, and all the truths. Vairagya, detachment, will also surely be there. Where there is bhakti, devotion, there will be these two, detachment from the world and knowledge of all truths. The four Kumara brothers continue. We know you are aware of everything, O Narad, and you can do everything. But now you are acting as if in ignorance of the matter. So you are asking us this question. You should do one thing. And by that, Bhakti Devi will be happy and her two sons will also be happy. Our father Brahma has given us Srimad Bhagavatam in 4 verses. This is called Chatushloki Bhagavatam. He received it from Lord Narayan. It has now been expanded by Srila Vyasadeva, who taught it to his son Srila Shukdev Goswami. 30 years after the beginning of Kali Yuga, Parikshit Maharaj was close to die in 7 days when a snake was to bite him. Srila Shukdev Goswami then told him the Srimad Bhagavatam. This was, the, this was only 30 years after the beginning of Kali Yuga, the date of Lord Shri Krishna's departure from this world. Then 200 years later, Gokarna told Srimad Bhagavatam to Dundukari, who then went to Vaikuntha. So, Sanat Kumar said, I will now tell Harikatha, the sweet pastimes of Krishna, as it was told by Shukdev Goswami. Tell everyone to come here. Invitations were then given to all the rishis. Narad Rishi went, Vyasadeva went, Shukdev Goswami went, Gautam and Vasishtha, Navayogendras, and all the rishis from all over the world went there. There, Sanat Kumar began the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, and all his brothers spoke in turn at intervals. They continued for 7 days. Sanat Kumar said, it is best to hear Srimad Bhagavatam daily from an elevated Vaishnava. If that cannot be done, then that hearing should be completed in 1 year. If you cannot do that, then hear at least 1 month, and then it can be told in summary. But persons of Kali Yuga cannot give so much time. They have no time at all. They don't understand. If anyone will hear these pastimes for even 7 days from any high class Vaishnava, he will be liberated. Krishna will enter his heart. And then Swarupa Siddhi, one's internally conceived spiritual body, as manifest in Bhava Bhakti, and at last Vastu Siddhi, one's fully perfected spiritual form, as manifest in Prema Bhakti, will manifest. But even when one simply begins to hear, at that moment, Bhakti begins to enter one's heart. The Kumaras then began. On the first day of the recitation, Bhakti Devi became very happy, and Gyan and Vairagya also became fully conscious. Thus, all became very happy, and at the end of the recitation, all those who heard it went to Golok Vaikuntha. So, we must hear the sweet pastimes of Krishna. When Srila Shukdev Goswami had previously recited Srimad Bhagavatam to Sri Parikshit Maharaj had asked 2 questions to him and to all the rishis present as well. Narad was present there, and Vyasadeva was also there. Parashar Rishi pronounced, Parashar Rishi, the father of Vyasadeva, and so many rishis and maharshis, saintly kings, were also there. In such an assembly, why was Srila Shukdev Goswami chosen to recite the Bhagavatam? It is because his voice was extremely sweet, like that of a parrot. It is also because he was trained by his father, and also because he was totally detached from the world. He was 16 years old at that time and uninterested in social customs. He was quite naked. He was very tall. His arms were very long, and he had a very beautiful body. His eyes were also very beautiful, resembling lotuses. His beauty was similar to that of Sri Krishna. While he was approaching the assembly of sages, children were clapping and treating him like a mad person. Some people were throwing dust on him. The ladies were thinking how very beautiful he is, but he looks like a mad person. On the other hand, when he reached the assembly, Narada and all others stood up, welcomed him, and gave him a worshipable seat. Maharaj Parikshit then asked 2 relevant questions. When a person knows he is going to die at once without delay, what should he do? Others will also die. When will they die? They don't know, but they will die. What should they do? Parikshit Maharaj primarily asked these 2 questions, and then he asked many others. What should be done when a person is going to die at once? We should chant, but at the time of death, this is not so easy. Krishna Tvadiya Padapankaj Panjarantam Addeva me Vishatu Manasa Rajahamsa Prana Prayana Samaye Kapavat Pittai Kanthavrodhana Vidhau Smaranam Kutaste. O Lord Krishna, at this moment, let the royal swan of my mind enter the tangled stems of the lotus of your feet. How will it be possible for me to remember you at the time of death, when my throat will be choked up with mucus, bile and air? Mukunda Mala Sutra, Sutra 33. It is very hard to utter Shri Krishna's name at the time of death. At that time, one's throat will be choked up. You should speak Harikatha to that person and chant Lord Krishna's name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you cannot do this, then chant Krishna, Radhe, Ram. Those who have a longer time should hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Gaura Premanande. Stop here today. Hare जय श्री गुरु गौरांग गांधर विकास गिरधारी श्री राधा विनोद बिहार जी की जय। जय निकला प्रेष्ठ जगदगुरु शिशु भक्तिवेदांत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज गुरुदेव की जय। निकला प्रेष्ठ श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज जी की जय। निकला प्रेष्ठ विष्णुपा श्रीमद भक्तिवेदांत त्रिविक्रम गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। निकला पृष्ठ विष्णुपा श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्रीमद भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। सपरिकर जय गुरु श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत ठाकुर की जय। महाभागवत कौशल गौरकिशोर बाबा जी महाराज की जय। जय जय सत्यम गोस्वामी श्रील भक्तिनाथ ठाकुर की जय। श्री जैन धर्म की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपी को गोवर्धन द्वार शवनात्मक श्री मंडल की जय। गंगा जमुना तुलसी बसुदेवी की जय। श्री जगन्नाथ प्रदेश चक्रजीव की जय। सर्व विघ्न विनाशन भक्ति विघ्न विनाशन भूषणदेव भगवान की जय। भक्तवर्षी प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। चारों संप्रदाय की जय। चारों आचार्य की जय। चारों धामों की जय। आकर मठराज चैतन्य मठ की जय। गौड़िया मठ की जय। रूप सनातन गौड़िया मठ की जय। गिरधारी गौड़िया मठ की जय। रमन बिहारी गौड़िया मठ की जय। रंगनाथ गौड़िया मठ की जय। दामोदर गौड़िया मठ की जय। अन्य शाखा मठ समूह की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। वेंकटेश्वर स्वामी श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत दंडी महाराज जी की जय। नाम प्रभु की जय। मटेश्वर वृंद की जय। धामवासी भक्त वृंद की जय। समागत भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि। हरे कृष्ण। दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्ण।